Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Hello, everyone.
Hello!
Another episode of Hypecast!
Hypecast!
It is the show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I'm your other co-host, David Bell.
Woo!
I'm Abe Epperson. I'm
woo!
the guest, and I'm hype.
Woo!
Hippity Woo!
Yeah! Give us a woo! Yeah! You son of a bitch! Thank you so much, Abe, for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, you know?
Yeah, man. Now that
what are you up to?
We're finished screaming at each other. Yeah, tell us what you've been up to, man.
I'm over at Small Beans, so I've been working at Small Beans, patreon.com/smallbeans.
Small Beans, yeah.
Where you can get your podcasts, and I've been doing that shit. I got some groceries. I don't know, it's been pretty boring.
Is Small Beans a reference to small testicles?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured, but I wasn't sure.
I mean, it's not only that. I don't know
Okay.
why. We just always would say, it's just something we'd always say. We'd be like, we want to be big beans. Like
Right.
that
You want to have big
we had-
testicles,
we-
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
We want to grow into huge monstrous beans. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just listening to you on The Hot Dog, talking about the underground comedy
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to listen to that episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
I remember the
garbage.
infomercials. I remember watching the infomercials as a teenager and being like, nope, that looks terrible.
Legitimately, I think a part of me died watching
Yeah.
it. I was a different person when I came out of that movie. I was like,
what is it? Like, I don't have any prior knowledge that that Dave seems to have.
Kentucky Fried Movie,
Uh-huh.
but it's made by the ShamWow guy.
Yeah.
Which is a whole.
no.
I remember.
Like, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
Imagine
I remember,
zero
Oh, go on.
comedic talent, like zero, and confident that you are funny as hell. So you're going there.
The infomercials were just, it's so offensive. That was the line. Guaranteed to offend you or your money back, they said in it. And then I remember it was just like poop. I remember them saying featuring
poop.
models pooping. And then I remember like a shot of someone who was clearly like probably homeless and probably had mental health issues.
Yeah,
And they're like
there's
filming
crimes.
them on the street and then just like awful things. Just a flashes of awful things. And it was just like, this looks absolutely terrible.
They went out and I thought they were making a movie, but they just filmed crimes.
Jesus. Yeah, that checks out.
And then they said it's funny.
That was a real bum fights, Girls Gone Wild era.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
it was. Yes, it was.
And this was on. I remember that because you finish watching like the midnight showing of Tales from the Crypt or whatever, and you're like, okay, let's roll them dice on Comedy Central.
Mhm.
Are we going to get boobs or are we going to get like that depressing underground comedy movie infomercial? and like if Girls Gone Wild, you'd be like, sweet, underground comedy movie. I mean, they both create a sense of sadness,
Yeah.
But one is like horny sadness, and the other is
Right.
just sadness.
Yeah, it was the 2000s, dark time. Dark
Yeah, that was
time.
like the darkest thing about him from what I remember.
Mhm.
And it was pretty bad.
The early aughts were pretty dark with stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just
We
sort
made
of
ourselves sad.
let bum fights happen. Yeah, for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and that was our formative years, or at least it was mine. What does that say?
I don't know, man. It says we're awesome.
All I know is that I come to Hypecast for the existential crises.
and the sad childhood
The sad
memories.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, that was a terrible movie. That was a terrible movie. Is the point?
Yeah. Well, speaking of movies,
No.
we got okay.
Oh.
All right. Well,
Listen.
I guess
No,
that's it for Hypecast. I think we can wrap it up.
Listen, we have a whole array of motion picture trailers to watch. And
We do,
some
but-
shows.
Yeah. First we have producers to thank.
Oh
so
yeah, let's do that.
I'll do that. Big thank you to Driftless, the negotiating Cenobite.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Hombre, says, Hail Ratma.
Praise him. He's the
Tom,
reason for the
keep-
season.
Yeah, I think after Chiz, there was a wave of people being like, oh, we doing the Simpsons thing? Yes. So we're going to keep getting these. And I
Okay.
encourage it.
Sure.
Spooky patrons.
Oh, right,
All
sure,
thank you.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you to Heathliff's Helping Handfuls.
Thank
you. Thank you to the conveniently placed self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head. Thank you. Thank you to Samuel Beckett's Donuts and Mortgage Emporium. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to Snapper Carr Punches God in the Dick.
Thank you.
Thank you to At Nerd Numbers.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mike the Lurker.
Thank you so much.
Oh, here's a Halloween theme one. Thank you to Dracula, the bus driving vampire.
That is a scary bus.
Mm-hmm. Thank you to Brockway Loves the Meat Millie.
Thank you.
Thank you to David
Knife
Knife
Boot.
Boot Henson.
In a way, that's also a holiday name because knife boots
It's
are
true.
scary. Knife boots can be scary. They are
I'm
radical,
spooked.
but they can be scary.
That's true. Like us.
My
In-
bones are rattling right now.
there you go.
Yeah.
Just quaking in my boots.
Clickety clack.
Uh,
Yeah.
let me take over here. Thank you to Grumblebee.
Thank you.
Thank you to Screaming Horse Pyramid. That's a Halloween
Thank
name.
you. That's true.
Thank you to Look Mom on a Podcast.
Thank you.
Also a Halloween name.
Yeah.
Thank you to Zex Mirkees, the Lightning Baron.
Thank you.
Thank you to Deborah's Awesome, Barbara's Great, and Cancer Can Go to Hell.
Thank you.
Thank you to Numino Ultra Microscopic Silico Volcano Coniosis Anti-Disestablishmentarianism Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you to the baby from Eraserhead.
Thank you.
Thank you to Chiz Killy Tits. There we go.
Woo, thank you.
Thank you to these 7 Bs.
Thank you.
Thank you to Breezy Ruizy.
Thank you.
Woo.
Thank you. All right. We
Okay.
got some spooky trailers.
Okay.
Starting with
The undead.
the Netflix's show from Netflix.
It's a movie, isn't it?
Oh, I hope it's just a movie.
yeah, I didn't even think.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, it's the Blockbuster movie
It's a
Yeah.
movie.
that
makes
Netflix
it
should
better.
not be allowed to make.
Yeah.
No.
that
Oh,
makes
wait, it
me
is a
little-
show. It is a show.
Yeah, I thought
I was
so.
literally about to say that makes me feel better that it's not a
Right.
movie, but it feels like a show. Yeah, this is late to the meme, right?
Yeah.
Like I wrote this in the notes is that like when you make something, it takes a while to make. And so like this was probably like set up like 4 years ago when like Blockbuster being the last Blockbuster was like a thing, and now we've all kind of forgotten about it. And so it's very much like don't make shows and movies based off memes. Just don't. Because by the time it comes out, everybody will be like, "Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've
I
moved
remember
on.
that meme."
We've moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like all of the Tiger King stuff. I think
Yeah.
some of them I think got correctly were canceled, but I think they still are going forward with one or two of those Tiger
Right, or-
King
or-
dramatizations.
Yeah. Or like Space Force, where it's like,
Remember when they did a
This is-
season 2 of Space Force?
oh no, I don't. I don't.
Yeah. You're
Why
totally
would you
right.
do that?
Isn't it? I can't remember. I have not seen Space Force, but it would land if like they have like a Kofefi joke or whatever
Oh,
it is.
I hope.
I mean,
God,
the Space
perfect.
Force is the Kofefi joke made into a TV show.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
Like,
It's
that's what it
if
is.
Incompetence was hilarious again. It's not.
It's
No.
it's really not. But
And
anyway,
this is kind of depressing. Blockbuster, like honestly,
it really is. Like this just bummed me out.
It kind of bummed me out. I actually think they could make it interesting. And what if, like, all right, what if it gets picked up for like a second and a third season, right? Like the plot twist is that, like in season 3, they get into streaming and take down Netflix.
Yeah.
That would actually be funny to me.
You know what actually will happen though?
No.
I guarantee there'll be at least 10 Netflix jokes, right?
Yeah.
Of just like people being like, I fucking hate Netflix or whatever.
Right.
Or like but you're right. They should do that. They should do something where they like bomb Netflix.
Yeah.
Like The Office.
Yeah, it ends with a murder-suicide at Netflix.
Yeah.
I also. Yeah,
go ahead. No.
Well, I love that they act like Blockbuster wasn't a corporate entity and they treat it like a mom and pop. I know it's the last, and that was kind of mommy and poppy, but
Right.
man, oh man, it really does feel like, hey, feel sympathy for corporations.
Yes. Because the thing they're doing is like the guy who's like, I will never be the next Tarantino if I don't work at a video store. And it's like, yeah, the video store wasn't Blockbuster though. Like whatever video store Tarantino worked at, which must have been exhausting, obviously, to work with Tarantino in a
video store. My God, yeah.
Just a room with him.
That's the thing is where I grew up, I had a little indie theater and indie video store with an amazingly huge cult section, stuff like that. That's actually what Netflix killed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck about Blockbuster. I've gone to a couple every now and then. I preferred Hollywood Video because, I like the underdog. But you know what I mean? It's like
Hollywood Video also had a better selection.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it's like people went to
hot
Blockbuster. People went because it was the only thing in town, unless you had a local video store. And I feel like most people have more fond memories of like that local video store. And again, that's what actually got killed.
Yeah, it's the ritual of it, though, is what appeals to people, right? Is, we would go out and go to Blockbuster, it'd be a whole thing, like it's a Friday night thing. You go out and rent like a couple of videos, and it's fun. It was a formative experience for a lot of people of a certain age. But yeah, it's interesting that like it's about something that we should be very sad about, which is huge faceless corporations crushing mom and pop, crushing everything that's not big box realtors in the name of like convenience and or whatever. But like, it's so. I'm really concerned how much of how many fans brands have right now.
Yeah,
like that really bugs me. Like how hard people fight on behalf of like DC and Marvel and Disney on like online, and then like Blockbuster is another huge brand where it's like, well, I understand being, I don't know, it's this.
It's the social media stuff where they're like, oh my God, look at Wendy's clapping back,
and
it's just like I don't know how else to say it. Is that like
this sucks?
It makes me feel old, but when I was a kid. This wasn't cool.
No,
it's not a cool thing.
This sucks. And like, so there's like every possible corner of this project makes me sad. It's about a thing that is sad, but it's making us try to feel sympathy for the brand that was itself crushing mom and pop stores. Like Blockbuster ruined mom and pop video stores. But also it's, like the death of physical media and of actual physical retailers is a huge problem. I don't know. Everything about this project bothers me. I'm sick of workplace comedies. Like every possible layer, I reject this. And which well, not every possible layer. I like people in the cast. Like I like Randall Park and JB Smoove and Melissa Fumero from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But
the cast is good, but like, it doesn't like, and I'm sure the writers are good. I didn't find the jokes particularly good in this trailer.
Oh, all the jokes are bad. They're all bad.
I'm in the same place where it's like, I'm not mad at the people making it. It's just like it's very sad. Yeah. It's the entire thing as you described it,
and the fact that it's being made by the fact that it's being made by Netflix is like, oh fuck you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and they're
it's
probably
feeding
like, that's
us.
hilarious.
Yeah, they're feeding us they're feeding us the nostalgia, and the thing we're nostalgic for is the thing that they were instrumental in dismantling. It's just so cynical and so corporate and so like it's everything about this fucking sucks. Like how dare this show?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's the thing: is they know they can get away with it.
Yeah,
you know, because the same reason that we're like Netflix did this. Netflix killed Blockbuster and Hollywood Video and mom and pop stores. They did, but they weren't the only parties that did. It was us. We're the baddies. You know, like we're the ones who decided physical media should no longer be a thing because we stopped buying it. And so it's like it's the same kind of deal. There's so much confidence in corporations now because they know that if they have a superior product, we're not going anywhere. We're not going to do it. We live online.
Yeah, we'll give everything up for the sake of convenience. And that's not across the board true. Like,
of course.
It's gotten to such a point where, like, you know, for people shopping at Amazon or Walmart, you know, it's like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Well, it's like, well, in a lot of areas, Walmart's the only fucking store. And like in a lot of areas, Amazon's the only place you can get the thing you're looking for.
Like,
or get a thing for an affordable price. Say what?
It's like, have you ever done Grubhub? It's amazing. The food fucking arrives hot, and it's great. Yeah.
What happens is it's a corporation taking advantage of a problem that's there and then making the problem worse.
Yeah.
In the sense that it's like Netflix came about because we were pirating shit because everything was like, you know, everything cost too much. Yeah. I don't know. Because it was just like there was so many movies and stuff. And also, in like the early 2000s, movies weren't that great either. And it was just like...
Yeah.
And so, like, yes, there was a problem. And then Netflix was like, we'll solve it by making it so much worse in the long run. Yes. And that's what, like, Walmart is and Amazon, where it's like, oh, yeah, there wasn't always a place to shop in these areas. If you needed... You know, like there wasn't always department stores, or like maybe you need certain things and you can't get them. You have to drive like so long, and they're like, "We'll solve it." And then it's like, "Well, now there's definitely not going to be stores there." Like you've killed that prospect. Yes, you solved the problem, but with what you could argue is a bigger problem that then becomes a national issue.
Yeah,
and a worldwide issue at that.
It's a problem that is complex and hurts so much, and I don't think that this show Blockbuster is going to be a balm for.
That's the thing is, like, I think you could make a show about this, like an honestly good show. It's not this,
not the show Blockbuster on Netflix.
Netflix.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's dark. You remember how we were talking about the early 2000s? Woo-wee.
Yeah,
Let's wait 10 years.
It really was a wasteland. Like as soon as Dave mentioned that, I'm thinking back to like the movies of like the early to mid aughts. Actually, you know, like a lot of the aughts, real dark time.
It was a lot. So we had like the Lord of the Rings and the Spider-Mans. We had a couple really good hits, but if you think about it, that even ushered in this like the way things are now. But I remember I worked at a movie theater during that time. And I can never forget, I let a friend in for free and he was like, oh, cool. And I watched him walk out of 4 movies in a row and then say, you know what? I'm just going to go into the mall. And I'm just going to go sit down somewhere.
None of these movies suck.
These movies are all trash.
True. Yeah. I remember being like, I get to work in a movie theater where I get to watch movies for free. And it was like, there were so many movies that I watched. And I was like, still not worth it. Still not worth free.
You imagine going into a theater in 1997, which was awesome.
Right. You know? Not 2003.
Yeah, 2003.
Like, try to recall the films of 2006. I fucking dare you.
2006. What's the first one that comes up? What's the first movie?
I'm Googling 2006.
Like 2005, 2006. Real dark years.
Poseidon.
Apocalypto.
Failure to launch.
Flushed Away.
The Omen remake. Lady in the Water.
300.
The Marine. There's some again. There's
shit,
some like
yeah.
a Scanner Darkly. It's like, okay, that's good. Children of Men. That's
no, there's
good.
a few good ones.
Well,
of
yeah.
course.
Yeah, but then there's Stay Alive. Remember Stay Alive?
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah. Good.
Nope.
Remember She's the Man?
These are
Remember
all
The Breakup?
These are
The
all
Breakup.
these are all films we would have rented at Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Southland Tales. There. We got a good
Lady
one.
in
yeah.
the Water.
I recently bought the Arrow Special Edition set of Southland Tales
Nice.
Good.
because I simply must know everything there is to know about the making of that film.
Oh, you will.
I'm going to.
It is well documented.
It
I
includes
think you just bought the source material.
it includes the unfinished cut he showed at Cannes
Yeah.
Wonderful.
to
That
a
is-
chorus of boos.
Yeah, I watched that, and it is boo-worthy.
It is extremely booable.
It is a boo film.
Yeah.
I sort of love it though.
I fell asleep 45 minutes into it,
It's easy to do. Easy to do.
and then I had to cover it for a podcast, so I took a
With
nap,
me.
woke up, and yes, and I woke up and I was like, ugh. It hurt to wake up
I
because I
still
knew.
have 2 hours of
Yeah.
Southland Tales to watch.
Listen, I've had to podcast about that movie twice now.
Yeah, you're fucked, dude.
That's a
Yeah,
real shame. I would have done it twice.
It's very funny because I went back and listened to the one me and you did, Tom.
Mhm.
And in that one, I'm like, I kind of love this film. It's so novel and neat. And then the second podcast is just me being like, I hate this film because like watching it once after like 10 years of not seeing it, it's like, oh, this is interesting. Then 6 months later, watching it again, it's just like, no, it's like it's the pancakes, divorce pancakes.
Yeah, from Review.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Greatest
It's just like-
episode.
Yeah, it really is.
What's it like to eat 30 pancakes? And he just looks right at camera and
So
goes,
good.
okay.
We should move on.
We should
We're
move on.
the first
2000
trailer.
We went on the first trailer for
talking-
fucking 20 minutes.
We're talking about 2006
We're
movies.
talking
Yeah,
about
man.
real shit, though.
Remember
All right.
when boomers talked about the 70s, how good they are?
Mhm.
This is our
This is that.
version.
This is that.
2006, man. Now that was the real shit.
I'm
That
pitch.
was-
Oh man, I'm gonna pitch. I got a fucking killer idea for a show that I'm gonna pitch to you guys off mic. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. The Peripheral. This had me until it said from the mind-bending creators of Westworld. And then I was like, oh, okay.
Well,
Thanks for telling me.
I'm pretty sure they show you the twist right away. But it's also it's based on like a book by William Gibson, which that could be cool. It could also be one of the worst X-Files episodes.
Westworld was based off of a Michael Crichton thing, right?
Sure was.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
saying, I once they said from the creator of Westworld, I basically, and maybe this is being unfair, but I feel like it's being very fair. I said, okay, it doesn't matter how cool this looks, I'm not watching it. Like, because Westworld looked cool too. And, I'm too old to waste my time with these clowns,
as dumb as it was, like the first season of Westworld was entertaining. But yeah,
Yeah.
it
was entertaining.
Big dumb mystery box. I don't. You're right.
It was
It's
a house
subjective.
of lies.
But that's the thing. That's why I'm not watching the new Game of Thrones, because it was like, oh, you fucking missed it right at the end, which means we all had to watch like 6 seasons or however many seasons. So it's just like, yeah, until I know that the series finale of House of the Dragon is good, I'm not gonna watch it, because that's I don't even care if it's the same creators. It's just like, you need to be punished. You need to be punished.
You deserve
Like
this.
you can't make something like a mystery box that falls apart and then go, well, here's our new show, and expect me to watch it. No, I'm sorry. I'm just not gonna.
What if the creators of Game of Thrones, like in that 8th season, just tweeted something like, "Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened." Imagine the absolute hellfire that would rain upon everyone.
That would almost be as
That'd be
bad
amazing.
as ending it with one of the characters going like, "Stories are the most important."
Stories are the true stories. Go fuck yourself.
That's such a fucked up thing to say after your story is filled with some of the most horrible human acts, where they're like, stories were the hero the whole time, and it's like, really? Because this story was depressing.
Yeah, let's look at the point of these stories. It sounds like we should just all die. It sounds like they should have won. The monsters should have won because they're better than we are.
Yeah,
right.
Let the White Walkers ride their spiders over us. Let's talk about this show.
Right. This does look good, which again is why I'm like, no, I'm not gonna fall for it. But it's about a world that looks fine, but then in the world there's also VR, and then it's part of what I'm hoping will happen every 20 years, which is like the Johnny Mnemonic effect, where like whenever VR becomes a thing, there'll be like a bunch of movies of being like, what if the Matrix? And that's what this is. It's a what if the Matrix, right?
Yeah.
Like it,
Basically.
It's also what if somebody got addicted to a reality, which is always a funny setup for a movie. Like it's also Ready Player One. I mean, it's basically that.
But it's that without the world being as shitty as in Ready Player One.
Right. Although they're in like a shitty trailer for like half the trailer.
Yeah, they're not leaning as hard on the dystopian element. We're just sort of being told that life in this near future kind of sucks. And so she jacks into this state-of-the-art VR thing, and it's like, oh, you're controlling a peripheral, so you like jump into somebody's body in this VR world. And it's like the trailer seems to kind of give it away, but I feel like the twist is it's not a VR world. You're actually going to the future.
Yeah, you're right.
That must be it, right?
And you're driving your little future.
Yeah, and I haven't read exactly specifically what the twist is, because there is a Westworld style twist in this story apparently, but from everything I've read in the book anyway, it is revealed very quickly. So I feel like that must be it, right? Is that they're
right? You're going in the future, and it's like
they're really going into the future.
It doesn't matter what you do in the future because it won't. Like if you fucked around in the past, that would mess with your present.
Yeah,
but if you fuck around in the future, it's fine.
I
hope they don't like.
Sorry.
Oh no.
Well, it's like the only twist that exists for video game type movies, like, or reality. Like, what if not video game? Like, that's really all you got?
Well, or what if double video game? Like movies like The 13th Floor or Matrix, or to a lesser extent Stark City, where it's what if the thing you thought was real wasn't real? It's one way or the other, right?
True.
Yeah, it's either the Matrix or it's Ender's Game.
Right.
Yes.
And you really have to hand it to Ready Player One for not being anything.
Yeah. It's just games.
Yeah.
It's just
what
games,
if it is
baby.
in fact video games and that's it?
Yeah, I hope this show, because it's not a movie again. It's a TV show.
No, this is a show coming to Amazon Prime. Yeah,
only shows. Yeah, I hope it has tons of scenes of Chloe Grace Moretz just like grinding her strength stat, by like killing thousands of boars or something.
Yeah, just putting on heavy armor and jumping up and down so her agility goes up.
Killing level 1 rabbits.
That's the other thing is I don't think there is a way to make VR or video games realistic in movies or TV, period. Like I can you think of any time a video game in a movie or TV show was depicted realistically? And the reason why is obvious, because it's boring.
It's boring, yeah.
It's boring. Yeah. That's what the premise of the joke in Rick and Morty is. Roy or whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure this is a show.
Yeah,
I'm sure this
is a program.
You stuck the landing, Dave.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes pure Matrix at the end. They're all wearing black leather and flipping through the air.
Yeah,
it really does.
Which again, it's really funny to me because it does feel like it's a show for people who are too young to remember when they did this in the 90s, which I would argue is everything.
A
right?
lot, yeah.
I'm sure there's movies in there's Tron and shit like that. Like. This comes in waves.
Every 20 to 30 years, things repeat. Yeah.
Yeah. What if computers? And it's like, what if computers?
What if computers?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with it.
Time is a flat circle, man.
It is. Yeah.
Causeway?
Sure.
What a boring trailer.
Yeah.
What? It's like this trailer is trying to make us not know what it's about. It's called Causeway, and I was like, okay. And then it's just J-Lo. J-Law. And she's just acting.
Yeah, it's Jennifer Lawrence
she's sad and
acting
she's not.
in scenes with Brian Tyree Henry, and he's acting, and the acting looks fine, but like the trailer's a minute and a half, and we have no.
Why are they sad?
Yeah, it does. The trailer forgets to tell us what the movie is about, which is I know on this show we talk a lot about how we wish trailers wouldn't give a lot away, and that's still true. But you got to give us something. Like,
you gotta give us a premise.
Movie? Yeah, like,
that's all you have to give us.
Yeah,
just the premise.
It seems just judging from the images and kind of they do all this, dunking your head into the pool, screaming in the car with no audio, jogging, and then you run really hard until you start to cry. It's doing all the drama beats in the trailer. Right. From the images, this is what my guess is. My guess is that Jennifer Lawrence has some sort of terminal illness. Yeah, and she's trying to deal with it. But like that's a pure fucking guess just based on like the tropes of the images that this trailer shows us.
All right, I looked it up. Abe, do you want to guess?
No.
Oh yeah, just tell us. I want to know how freaking far off the mark I was.
Yeah.
You are very close. A U.S. soldier suffers a traumatic brain injury while fighting in Afghanistan and struggles to adjust to life back home. Period. So yeah, so for people who haven't seen the trailer, it really feels like a sketch.
Show us some more
of like a drama trailer. Like, doesn't it feel that way where it's all the tropes?
It's just all the tropes, yeah.
And and all of the things they say are vague, and you just can't tell what the fuck it's about.
It reminds me of the Britannic sketch, every Oscar movie trailer.
Yeah.
Catchphrase. Yeah, it's just take those moments, film them seriously or genuinely as if you're filming like an award-winning event, and then just have the dialogue regurgitate the thing that's happening. What if Jennifer Lawrence was a character?
Right. So here's something that's interesting: is according to a lot of reviews and like even some of the comments in the YouTube, people who've seen it says that it isn't that sad. And they're making it out to seem sadder than it is. So that's interesting. Like, apparently it actually has some comedic beats.
Who are these people?
Just like reviews and stuff. So I'm guessing they're trying to make it look like
what people? What are their names?
Yeah.
Who said this?
Who are they?
I guess
Sounds
what I'm
like
saying
a bunch
is
of sad sex to me.
Yeah. I suspect this movie is probably good if you sat down and watched it. But boy, are they not advertising it well. I don't think this trailer is a good way to advertise this.
No, it's not, and it's also indicative of like the normalization of like Oscar bait, or the idea that our emotions as viewers are so easily manipulated. It reminds me of that. It reminds me of the thought that I, as a person, you smack some sad music on some good acting, and I don't know what's happening, and I'm like, oh, I feel things, and it's like it feels evil in a way.
Right.
Like whoever's driving this ship, it feels like they're and I can get away with it. Yeah, it's like you stop doing this, you perverts. I don't know. That's all I really think.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I happened to scroll down, and obviously don't take this with a grain of salt. It was just the first user review I saw on IMDb that's titled "Boring," and the first line is "Boring movie that insists upon itself," and I just think that's funny. That could be the vibe too.
We'll see. I mean, probably. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. Maybe there's gonna be another trailer, and that one will probably round it out a little bit better. Yeah. A lot of the strategies I'm noticing about trailers in the end are like, oh, we're going to show you a little bit of one arc in one trailer and a little bit of another,
Right.
And so you have to kind of get all of the pieces before you even know what the fucking movie is. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're doing that, but that seems to be a trend.
Yeah.
So we'll probably get a little bit more information. But this is not a true trailer, like for all the reasons you guys said.
Well, Well, next trailer, I think the title of this one's very funny.
It's
It's called Women Talking. And yeah, that is what the trailer depicts.
mm-hmm.
It's women talking. They're also doing. It just feels like it was
there's a
named.
fair bit of doing.
There's a fair bit
Yeah,
of doing.
it felt like it was named by someone who hated the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this is women talking.
Women be talking. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really feels like that. The cast is amazing.
Yeah,
Frances McDormand, Rooney Mara, Claire Foy, Jesse Buckley is in this. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
This to me feels like what the last trailer should have done. What I mean by that is like I get enough here that I'm like I'm interested. It's also directed by Sarah Polley.
It sure is, yeah.
Who's I just know her from Dawn of the Dead. She's the main character in the
Well,
remake.
yeah, The Sweet Hereafter, Go, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
She was the little girl in that. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, and I remember now in Sweet Hereafter. Yeah.
You know what's hilarious is I had the same moment. I was like, that name I recognize. And then I Googled her and I was like, that face I recognize. And I looked down at all the things and I was like, oh yeah, I did see her in that. And I was like, but that isn't what I'm remembering. And this tells you so much about me. The one that I was like, that's where she's from, is the John Adams miniseries on
Of course,
HBO.
of
She
course
played
it is.
Abigail
Hell
Adams.
yeah.
'Cause
I gotta
fucking
rewatch
love
that.
thing. Yeah.
I gotta
Um,
make Hannah watch that
I'm
and
so
just be
basic.
miserable.
I'm so fucking
You're
basic.
so basic.
Listen,
You're
man,
basic.
John. It all comes back to John Adams with Abe.
For Abe, it's all just
no,
about
it's
Ben.
this movie is based on a book. The book, there's not much information about what the movie's about, but the book is about a fictional Mennonite community in the aughts, I think. So like recently.
Always
It says 2010, according
yeah.
to and
the odds.
it's oppressive religious community where the women, it's like one of them just says, "Hey, I think this might be bullshit."
Yeah, I think this is
It's women
bullshit.
talking.
Hey, I like that
And
story.
something tells me it's not going to end well for the dudes, and
For the
something
dudes.
tells me I will not feel bad for them.
It
Feels,
the dude's gonna deserve it. I'm pretty sure.
I'm
Although,
pretty sure.
here's my little sneaky theory is that they for the trailer they do show some dudes, but they don't show any like events, which I'm sure there are terrible events that happen to them in Act
reading
1.
reading the summary of the novel, this movie sounds like it's going to be wild.
It's gonna go pretty hard, but the color grading and the cinematography of the movie, if you watch it, very very reminiscent of a horror movie. And they technically don't show the villain or what's doing the things to them. Like you could read that way. I mean, I know it's men because it's obvious. The title says it. I just choose to believe that it's a swamp monster and this movie's gonna rule.
Yep. I also like the idea that they're talking about one guy who's just like the neighbor of the community, and like he's not even involved, and he's just like he just keeps blasting Chumbawamba or something, and it's bothering them.
Yeah. We gotta get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
I get knocked out.
Get knocked down. You're not gonna get up again, and then stabs him with a shovel.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is. I'm into this. Like, I want to see this. I'm so curious of what it is. They, the moment Frances McDormand shows up, I'm just like, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like all these other actresses too, obviously, but Frances McDormand is like, oh, you're in good hands, and it's like, oh, okay,
yeah, we got a movie now. Yeah.
Claire Foy is she's gonna break out in a way that she hasn't yet, because she's kind of a name, but the shit that she did in the fucking Crown,
The Crown, yeah,
unreal, and Jesse Buckley as well.
Yeah,
There's a lot of really good talent here.
Yeah, this looks fucking. Yeah, I think this is gonna be really good. I think the trailer is. I wish more people saw it. Or well, actually, hold on. I'm gonna see how many views. It's got 4 million views. Okay, good.
Yeah, people are
talking about women talking.
People are talking. Yeah,
Nice.
They should do. Yeah, they should do like, remember those old trailers where they show like people coming out of the movie.
Yeah, they do that now.
Like,
they
people
do
are
that.
talking about women talking, and then they do like people seeing Star Wars. You know.
Yeah, they did it with like Barbarian recently, but yeah, it would be.
Oh yeah.
God.
It would be funny to like a
That's
trailer
great.
with just nothing but teens, like teenagers coming out of women
Yes.
talking.
Women
Whoa!
talking. All
It blew
these
my
bros.
mind.
Whoa! Shit, dude! Francis McDormand rules.
That said, we're joking, but I don't know. This does seem like it might be fucking out of its mind. Like things might get really hardcore. So
I'm telling you, man, I don't want to read it. I don't want to read it on the show, but everybody should look up what the book is about because it's like,
no, I'm just
whoa,
gonna see it.
okay.
I'm just gonna see it.
Let's go. Women talking. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Speaking of women talking, Velma is the next trailer for HBO Max with Mindy Kaling. I believe that's her, right? That's her voice.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
and I think she's developing the show as well. Like she's not just
That
in
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're gonna say, Tom, because I'm psychic and I know.
Mhm.
But I will say I like that HBO Max is kind of the way Adult Swim took all the Hanna-Barbera stuff. I do like this pattern that's emerging, not there yet, of HBO Max just taking their properties and making fun versions. I think they should go weirder with it. I think wasn't there news about Cartoon Network just dissolving? I think someone has to take that up. Someone has to start making weird, fucked up cartoons, and HBO Max is the closest right now with this and Harley Quinn, but it's not enough. I don't know, man.
Kind of
Dark times.
my whole thing with this and sort of actually a lot of the Hanna-Barbera properties, I feel like at least recently, this has kind of been all they've done with Scooby-Doo for the past 30 years, right? Is doing the meta thing. So it's
and
like,
actually
oh,
the
okay,
first-
here's another meta Scooby-Doo thing. Okay. Like I don't know. It seems, I don't know.
It's one of those things where it's like you can't just do Scooby-Doo now unironically, because if you go back and watch those cartoons, you don't want to do that.
No.
It's like doing the Jetsons unironically. It's like, no, you want to do a new version.
It's also not for the same audience anymore. They get the audience that all these properties are for. Like animation used to be for kids. It's now that's not true overall, and so who's watching Velma? People who are older and sarcastic and of our generations or the generations surrounding. So there's a sense of meta and irony, and so that's what you're gonna
I would argue Scooby-Doo was also for stoned adults when it came out. I don't know.
Yeah, because there wasn't much going around, happening,
Yeah, like
we had books, That's what
exactly.
That's all we had.
I remember when I was first getting high, I would watch Scooby-Doo episodes, and I was like, "Oh, I get it." Like, "Oh, I see. It's fun when you're high." Mm-hmm. No, but you're right. It's the other thing is like, why Scooby-Doo? Why has Scooby-Doo lasted this fucking long? It's so weird.
I think it's the most popular show that they did. So
I guess
it's the one that had the most mainstream saturation, I guess, and it's like kind of the most recognizable, I think, of the Hanna-Barbera IPs outside of something like the Flintstones. But I'm not even sure how those rights work.
Why not the Flintstones?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like there's other cartoons, the Jetsons again. There are other cartoons from this era that were huge. It's so weird that we've just been doing Scooby-Doo for decades and decades. There must be some graph at where they're looking at the numbers and they're just like, yeah, if we just keep doing Scooby-Doo, we'll make X amount of money. We don't know why, but
fuck the Flintstones, just Scooby-Doo now.
Just Scooby-Doo.
I mean, that's kind of how it works corporate wise. It's risk adverse.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's
you're right though. The first Adult Swim thing I saw, Tom, was a Scooby-Doo parody.
Yeah.
Where they made it look like it was almost a regular episode. It was very confusing because I was high.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening here?
They've
been doing this for decades. Yeah.
And every Scooby-Doo movie that's been released theatrically, like the live action ones, and then the most recent one, Scoob, it's not fully meta like the live action ones are, but it involves other Hanna-Barbera characters, and it's a little meta. So it's it's like the meta version of Scooby-Doo is already like the kind of, I think, a lot of people's baseline for Scooby-Doo.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems weird that we keep doing this idea.
Yeah, is Scooby-Doo going to be like Pinocchio or Peter Pan, where we're just, for 100 years, we'll be telling the story of Scoobert-Doo, and and it'll just be like this weird thing that we can't get rid of. All that said, I like this angle. I like focusing on Velma. Although, again, I think it's Velma as the underdog is a very popular idea now, you know?
Yeah.
It's not breaking new ground. Like, I think it would have been more interesting to tackle a character like Daphne, honestly, who's like sort of written off a lot more.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, therefore less beloved. So you kind of have to take it for what it is. I did like the joke, at least she's still white in the trailer. That was a good joke.
She's talking about Judy Jetson. Yeah.
Yeah. That was solid. Yeah, I have a feeling this will be funny.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be good jokes in it. It's just like, I don't know.
She's funny. And if she's writing it...
We're old. We can say it. We're just old pieces of shit.
We're old pieces of shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Scooby-Doo is so harmless to me that it's like, yeah, I guess we can just do it over and over again if people are enjoying it, you know?
That's true.
And there's no like serious lore to it.
And if you're getting hung up on that, it's like, really? Like, who cares? It's Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're trying to keep the canon straight with Scooby-Doo?
Right. The only time I've been offended by Scooby-Doo is when they recast the voice for the voice cast from the other, like where Matthew Lillard and all those, like they did a recasting where people were mad of like, you have Matthew Lillard. He's still alive. He's getting a good paycheck. He is pretty much the voice of Shaggy at this point. Don't recast him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe he's a jerk, but
yeah,
that was the only time I was like, what the hell? So what the hell, Scooby-Doo?
How dare you, Scooby-Doo?
How dare you?
Scoobert-Dooson.
In this house, we only have one Scoob, and that is Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
I see it.
All right,
any other thoughts? Oh. We're moving on?
We're moving on. No more thoughts. Zero more thoughts about Scoobert.
All right.
Scoobert dip.
Yep. Anne Rice's Mayfair Witches.
I don't know what the fuck this is, but I'm on board.
Yeah, I do too. I love
so.
that Anne Rice was like, all right, time for witches, you know?
Of course.
Yeah, it's witchy time.
Yeah, I wish Anne Rice had gotten around to all of them, like Creatures of the Black Lagoon, get some mummies in there.
Get some mummies in there.
Get some mummies in there.
I love that one of the lines in this trailer, how they introduce it, is like, what is this place? And then some woman who probably works in a bar, I don't know, like some lady who's like represent local color, is like murders, disappearances, but mainly it's known for its witches.
Yep.
And I like, really? That's how the house is known for its witches.
Yeah.
This must be a fascinating place to live.
That is. There's a lot of witches in that house.
Where all the murders and disappearances get upstaged by the witches.
By the pure number of witches in this house.
The witches.
Yeah, like Alexandra Daddario just arrives and there's just an infestation of witches in the house.
Yeah, she's just like swatting at them.
Yeah, putting out traps.
Fumigating the house. Got to get rid of these witches.
Is the devil in this?
Probably.
There's a guy who shows up at the end, and he looks like a slightly more handsome Dr. Oz.
Yep,
That's
Harry Hamlin from Clash of the Titans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good for him.
And he's the devil.
I'm pretty sure he's
right?
the devil.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a devil's advocate situation. We have like Alexandra Daddario's clearly just, I don't know, she probably is doing a true crime podcast for all we know, but her character is moving into a house to search on witches.
Just the house is lousy with witches.
Lousy with witches. I hope that the house makes you a witch. Like
I think she's gonna be a witch, right? By the end of this,
like the beach makes you old.
The trailer shows us her becoming a witch. So yeah. But I do want her to like get up at night to like go get a glass of water or something, and there's like two witches just eating food out of the sink because she left dirty dishes in there. She's like, shit. I can't leave dishes in the sink because I got witches.
Witches scattered.
So to her credit, she plays a neurosurgeon,
Okay.
who goes to the house
Okay, cool.
because she discovers that she is an heir to the family of witches that live there.
Oh,
Sure.
okay.
Yeah,
So she's
whatever-
got witch
whatever-
in her blood. Damn.
Yeah, it's sure.
Whatever gets her there. Whatever
You're a
gets her there.
witch.
You're a witch.
You're a
and
witch,
so,
Allie.
So what's the house all about? I guess
I don't know.
It's the witch
is
house. It's
the
probably the
place
house
where
she inherited.
has her. She comes into her witchiness. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she probably inherited
I just
it,
thought that
and
the house makes a witch. Like it's a house that makes witches. Like that's funnier.
I
to me.
mean,
Like the
I want
Keebler
that.
house, but for witches.
yeah,
Instead of cookies, it cranks out witches. Yeah, I could watch that.
get them out.
No, this looks
cranking
like
them
this looks like grown up Harry Potter with witches. Which
Yeah,
Sort of, yeah.
I categorize this as delightful supernatural horse shit.
oh yeah, no, it's gonna be yeah.
this fun horse shit, you know,
Yeah.
that it'll be it'll be fun.
I love supernatural melodrama.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The sillier the better. And Anne Rice's stuff is pretty silly. So
it's
Yep.
it's
One
up
of the
there.
writers did an episode of John Adams.
oh
2008
shit.
John Adams.
Yeah, John Adams.
Yeah. Michelle Ashford. She wrote an episode of John Adams. Just
That's what I'm
one.
talking about.
Yeah.
It follows me around, man.
Yeah.
It's like some kind of witch.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm into this if I am able to catch it. Where is it? This
It
feels
looks like
like
it looks like AMC.
Okay, that checks out. Yeah. That super checks out. Yeah, I don't know, man. More Anne Rice. More Anne Rice.
Sure, yeah. Apparently the new Interview with the Vampire is good. I need to watch that.
Yeah. Less J.K. Rowling, more Anne Rice.
Yeah.
Let's get a Anne Rice video game, you know? Where you're like
I don't want to go.
interviewing vampires.
I don't want to go all in on Anne because I'm sure she's probably said some
She's
problematic
probably-
shit over the years.
Yeah,
They're
for
all-
all we know, she's derp as well.
She was she was famous for a good long while. So
Yeah.
No, I at least saw a tweet showing that she was not like the opposite of a turf.
Oh yeah, she tweeted a few years ago. She was like, "I'm not like J.K. Rowling's bitch."
Yeah.
Yeah, she's cool. Seems cool.
Let's see.
uh,
Sorry. There's an article about a trans woman who came out to her, and she was the first person before her death. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but it seems like she's actually she seems like she's a good person. Or at least with the LGBTQ stuff, she could be racist. You know,
well,
she could be
Yeah,
super
there's any number of
racist.
things.
We don't
Yeah.
know.
she's
She might hate the Irish.
she's
you
not
know?
she's not much of anything anymore, Dave.
I know she's super dead.
Yeah, she is turbo dead.
It's
but
so
yeah.
funny that we've gotten to a stage where it's like, oh, is someone famous? Okay, so the assumption is that they're secretly a monster.
They're
right?
a monster, yeah. Well, it's the God, I feel like it was the Simpsons joke where it was like we repeat, if you see any celebrities, call the police immediately when it's like the future.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Simpsons did it.
Yep. All right, I really want to talk about this next one.
Yeah.
Because this one really threw me through a loop. This is Limitless with Chris Hemsworth, a Discovery Channel show about him seeking immortality.
It seems like that.
Produced by Darren Aronofsky. Did
What?
you guys catch that?
I
Are they
did,
best
yeah.
friends? That's a huge reveal.
Yeah. So it's
What
like
are they
is it,
up
Darren
to?
Aronofsky. Yeah,
What are they doing?
I'm really,
Apparently trying to
I-
get Chris Hemsworth immortal.
yeah, I'm really nervous about this.
I'm nervous about this because that season finale is going to be the most anticipated thing
Yeah.
I watch of next year whenever this comes out.
Right.
Because
I feel like-
if he fucking cracks the code, we're going to have a fucking immortal Chris Hemsworth running
Yeah.
around.
I feel like this is going to cause like a nuclear explosion while they're making it. Like it's just Darren Aronofsky being like, I'm going to produce a thing about giving Chris Hemsworth challenges to maximize his mortality. It's just like, I don't know about that. I don't know about any of that. That makes me nervous.
But look at the pedigree of Darren Aronofsky. The other thing is that like this could be like a sick experiment, you know? Like
Yeah.
I think we should start doing this to our A-list actors is like, let's put you through the ringer. Let's give you the Nickelodeon guts of it all, you know? Like,
Yeah.
like let's see him sweat. What's weird is that this movie or the show seems mostly like there's only 3 or 4 activities that you can actually cover. They just do them time and time again.
No, it looks like
Road Rules or something.
Yeah, I was about to say it looks like Travel Sick or like Survivor Man, where they're like, we're gonna put you to make you live longer. We're gonna make you bungee jump, and it's like, I feel like this is Darren Aronofsky playing a prank on Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, he's feeding him all this bullshit about like, oh yeah, we're exploring the limits of human potential. It's like, no, he's just thinking of weird shit for you to do.
Yeah, we're gonna make you eat these lamb's eyeballs.
Yeah,
and then Joe Rogan's here. He's gonna give you money if you do it.
They make Chris Hemsworth stay the night in a haunted house.
Yeah. Aronofsky has a writing credit on the show, by the way, so I don't know what the fuck that means.
Yeah. I just want one day it's just like a blank, like white-walled room, and he's like, Chris Hemsworth's like, what are we doing today? He's like, I'm going to take this bucket and I'm going to dunk your head into it 500 times. Yep. I'm just going to torture you right now.
Yep.
And that's the episode. It's just watching that.
It just
footage.
slowly becomes the fountain.
Yeah. I was about to say, what if it's just him doing stuff from Darren Aronofsky films?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if it's just that Chris Hemsworth has clearly never seen an Aronofsky film and doesn't realize that he's just making him do the things?
He has no idea Darren Aronofsky's a filmmaker.
Yeah.
He's just a guy he met on the street who followed him. Yeah. I was disappointed that it wasn't the Limitless pills from the movie Limitless. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah. You know what else should happen after this? Mm-hmm. Why isn't there a Darren Aronofsky film starring Chris Hemsworth? I want to see whatever the fuck that ends up being.
I mean, maybe that's what this is like. Maybe that's how this came about.
Unfortunately, I looked it up. Unfortunately, his next thing is starring Jared Leto.
Oh, come on, man.
It's about a guy. Here's the worst part. I think it might only star Jared Leto. It's called Adrift, and it's about an abandoned yacht.
So it's
so it might just be
more
fucking
Leto.
Jared Leto just being the old man in the sea.
Putting on different mustaches.
Yeah.
Can we just like Truman show him and just like let the people who want to see Jared Leto, like they just put him on an island that just streams that all the time, and
they
just
should.
And then we can all forget about it. Is that possible? Can I?
Yeah, I mean,
I will vote for whoever makes that happen.
Wait, what's the plan?
The plan is to
we're gonna Truman show him.
Just get all the fans of Jared Leto on an island to watch Jared Leto's life.
Just Google Jared Leto Island. And,
whatever the fuck is that's right. Whatever the fuck is happening with that fandom.
No, like that's literally what's sort of happening already.
That's kind of he's doing it to himself.
It's called a cult.
That's right. It is a cult.
Yeah.
The Morbs. That's what they call themselves.
The Morbs.
Oh man. Oh man.
Also, I think Aronofsky should change his production title.
What's his title?
Well, the productions is Newtopia, spelled Nutopia, and I always I never not read it as Nuttopia.
Nuttopia, yeah.
I'm picturing it. It's like Darren Aronofsky wants to create a utopia loaded with nothing but new metal, like a utopia of new metal, a Newtopia with a little umlaut over the U.
God damn, Darren Aronofsky hanging out with Chris Hemsworth. I want to see
and
him hanging out with Jared Leto. Sounds exhausting.
Making him do dares.
Yep. I also like the idea of like Chris Hemsworth bullying Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah,
like sack tapping him and stuff.
Yeah, it probably like picks him up and just walks around.
Yeah. That's again. I want them to make like the artist of art house films where, like, in between takes, Chris Hemsworth just bullies him, and it's like, "Yeah, I get it. We're making art. It's fine, man."
Get the Daniels to film it. It would be fucking amazing. Yeah.
Sure, I'm a sad mime in this scene, but your head's going in that toilet as soon as the cameras start rolling.
I guess what we really want is Darren Aronofsky and Chris Hemsworth bullying each other back and forth in some capacity.
Yeah. Now we're talking.
Because we're definitely getting Darren Aronofsky bullying Chris Hemsworth. Like that's what the show is.
Yeah.
I am so curious. I want to know everything about how this came came together. Like, was it like Darren Aronofsky? Did he meet Chris Hemsworth at a party, and Hemsworth was like, you know what I like? The fountain. I would love to like extend my life. Like, what the fuck happened? That
I don't know. There's so many
show?
layers to it. Like, it's a National Geographic production. It's got, if you notice in the trailer, there's cameos from like Chris Hemsworth brothers. Mark Ruffalo shows up. Like, I don't know. It's how
like
did this come together? Oh, go ahead.
It feels like a Welcome to Wrexham kind of deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the one with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney.
Bought a soccer team, yeah.
And they like have a midlife crisis over the span of like a season of television. I feel like that's what this is, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they're just like, I don't know. We just met each other, had a conversation, and I don't know. We're here. We're doing it. It's crazy. I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I like to think like, thanks, cocaine. You know, like I hope, like this feels like a cocaine project to me.
Yeah.
But like,
Hell
I don't think Chris Hemsworth does cocaine, so I think he's just got that like bro energy.
Yeah, he's just whey protein, snorting whey protein all day.
Well, Darren Aronofsky is doing cocaine.
Well, Darren Aronofsky's
Just doing boatloads of cocaine.
Yeah.
Hey, call some of your Disney
Adonis.
friends, man. You got the Disney hookup, right? We can get a Disney show going.
It's just the Adonis and the Goblin. That's what this should be called.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the only trailer that I actually really wanted to talk.
Holy
This is me Threegan.
Mithrigan.
freaking.
So
No, it's Megan.
Before we get into it,
Yeah.
some context. This is from the writer of *Malignant*.
It sure
which I
fucking
think-
is, Dave.
I think it's exciting, people, but I think it's like, don't expect a weird twist. I don't know. I'm trying to.
I'm not expecting a weird twist, but I am expecting what the trailer has already kind of shown me, which that is this movie is going to be like batshit in a couple of ways.
Yes.
Yeah. I just also want to note the director is the director of Housebound, and in fact hasn't done anything movie-wise since Housebound, which that's a fun movie from what I remember. I haven't seen it in a bit.
Yeah, no, I didn't know any of that. That makes me actually. The other thing is in the trailer, right? So the idea is, it's like it's AI but a horror movie. The beginning of the movie,
Child's Play.
It's Child's Play.
It's Child's Play.
It is Child's Play.
Yeah. It literally gets a toy to be less lonely, right?
Yeah.
And then she becomes a horror monster. And we get interstitial kind of like, if you've seen Ex Machina, kind of like the deconstruction of like behavior that happens in that. It's like playing with the uncanny valley of something like an action like dancing. And the dancing makes me think, like, if you watch the trailer, that this movie actually is kind of self-aware. It knows it's outrageous and almost a comedy, which is interesting.
That's what always rubs me the wrong way a little bit. That's the thing that, like, rubbed me the wrong way a little bit with *Malignant*, because and we've talked about this with *Orphan*, where it's like a lot of these movies are generally not very, like, are kind of slow. Yeah. And they rely on like one big meme to get people in the door.
That's right.
That said, again, the people behind this, the Housebound person and stuff, like I want to see this, and I bet it'll be fun. But I don't like the winking. I don't like that. Like after *Malignant*, they're gonna start being like, "Oh, we got to do like weird shit," where like it's people going, "Oh, you won't believe it," you know, like it.
I don't.
It feels like a little too much of a like. An obvious hook. Again, it looks interesting as hell, though.
Well, yeah. What I mean, obviously, the part that I really took a shine to was the Megan doll doing TikTok dances.
Yeah. That part's great.
I was gonna say I totally understand your trepidation, because that's how we end up with shit like really obvious parodies or and
I think. It's this thing where it's like lightning in a bottle, where it's like not every movie can try to be *Malignant* or *Barbarian*, and it's like you have to start with a good idea first, you know what I mean? And I'm scared that they started with, "Oh, wouldn't this be freaky?" and then they wrote it around it, you know?
Yeah.
That's when it starts going bad.
I'm fine with, like, I can take a couple of crap, like, I'm always pro weirdness, and I know you are
Absolutely.
as well.
Me too.
So like, as I don't, Malignant didn't feel that memey to me, just because its crazy twist was so woven into the second half, like it's constant for the second half of the movie.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't care for Malignant, but I understand that wasn't forced. They weren't trying to force anything.
No, yeah, that was the whole movie. Yeah, so like,
yeah,
I'm all for this if it kicks off an arms race of people going for really weird, really strange ideas. I totally understand your trepidation though, because I don't want to see it turn into like the Apatow era of comedy, where it's just like people lightly edited improv, where it's just people trying to one up each other with a crazier thing that they're saying that has nothing to do with anything in the movie, and it's completely non-contextual. It's just like, I'm going to say the weirdest thing that I can think of, and then you say, in return, you're going to try to top that with the most over-the-top thing you can think of. I don't want that. But I'm doing a bunch of weird-ass movies, and I hope that that's what happens.
I'm scared they're going to be writing for the trailers, you know?
Yeah.
Where, like, it's like nothing in this movie actually makes it look... Like, here's part of what makes me nervous, is I think horror movies should be scary. and every now and then there's like a wacky one or a fun one, and I get it, but if it becomes a thing where they're all trying to be wacky, it's like, hey, remember how they're supposed to be scary? like we should start with that. With the for example, this premise is fundamentally silly. Like, there's something, and I wrote this in the notes, like, there's something always funny to me when a robot goes bad immediately, because it means that, like, they really did a bad job at building the robot.
They really fucked that robot up.
Like, they had to give it super strength, and that alone is like, well, I don't know why you do that. And then they had to, really fuck up the programming and not test it. And so it's that where it's like, this movie is silly. It's a silly movie. I'm into that, but I don't want this to be every fucking horror movie.
Sure, yeah. And we're getting a lot of really great horror. I think we mentioned in a previous episode, we're in sort of like a horror renaissance, which is great. Oh shit, I had a thought that I lost it. Damn it.
Well, real quick, I was trying to figure out where I knew the little girl from. The Haunting of Hill House.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Little Nell. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Oh, I remember. The actual, like, the wilder moment in this trailer for me, I mean, as incredible as the little Megan robot doing TikTok dances is,
right?
Is they have a real, like, Dr. Octopus moment in this.
Yes.
Where it's like the little girl is staying with her aunt or whatever, and she's like, oh, you seem lonely. Well, here, I just happen to be working on this incredibly advanced lifelike AI robot doll. I'm just going to go ahead and bring this home so you have something to play with. And it's like in the reason I say it's a Dr. Octopus moment is in Spider-Man 2. They spend the whole first act of the movie where Doc Ock is talking about his fusion reactor, and when he goes to show it off, he's like, by the way, here are these 4 metal arms I've invented. Yeah. It's like, hold on.
Yeah, everybody should be like, okay, pause.
Yeah.
He's like, what? It's science. This is just science, okay?
Well, how do they work? Oh, they poke right into my brainstem, so I control them with my thoughts. You fucking what?
What? What is...
You just solved paralysis.
Yeah, apparently.
Like, that's a huge invention. You don't need to fuck around with fusion.
No, I need to make my mini sun.
Yeah.
You don't understand.
Why is everybody so impressed with these arms?
My other comment about this movie that it's kind of the trailer's fault is they kind of show the whole movie. And maybe it can't be helped, but it's also like, it bums me out because I don't think this movie is actually going to be that weird. I think it's going to be...
dancing is going to be the strangest thing, yeah.
Yeah, and they put it in the trailer. The robot's going to kill the little boy in the woods. They're going to give the robot the benefit of the doubt at first. They'll be like advocates. You know, there'll be someone who's like, no, the people who've designed it is like, no, it can't kill. No, like it'll be a lot of that. And then it'll escalate. I think it hangs someone in the garage. So I think it'll do that next. And it'll do the Chucky murders. And then I think the dancing is in the end, where I'm pretty sure the doll is going to go on some sort of rampage. It's always going to be in the name of, like, quote unquote, protecting the child. And so I'm guessing it's like they tried to take the child away and it's like obsessed and going there. And that's like, it's clearly in an office dancing. And like, I feel like I know the entire film based on the trailer as well. And so like, I'm all for weird. I actually don't think this is going to be weird. I think it's going to be pretty narratively by the book. And not like I wish it was more than just visually weird. I wish there was weird storytelling, which of course I'm judging the book by its cover.
There could be.
Yeah, there could be. I just don't get that impression from this trailer at all. Like I don't think it's going to be as weird as it wants us to think. I don't know.
Yeah. Something else I noticed, and I don't know what it means yet, because like you said, judging a book by its cover, it's hard to see intention.
Yeah.
But something I noticed that like my sci-fi spidey sense like perked up is that notice in the trailer, anytime someone is referencing the robot as like just a harmless girl, it's an it. Like they use the it pronoun.
Right.
When
it is. Doesn't have a soul.
When she becomes a horror monster, though, she is a her, and I thought that was interesting. The psychology of that.
Yeah, see, that would be a really. Yeah, maybe they will explore that. That's again, for all we know, this movie does something amazing.
Yeah.
It's just right now I have it on the shelf next to like the movie about the haunted pants or like Smile or the ones that are like we're trying to get people in the door with like a gimmick.
She gets on all fours and runs like the horse girl from the TikTok. And she dances like TikToks. It's like, all right, this is weird. And that's memeable. Sometimes that's the marketing strategy, though, is show the
memeable moments. Yeah.
What if your brain is blown by our thoughts on AI? That's
the only reason that the dancing is in the trailer is so that it gets memed on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, etc. That's the only reason. And you're 100% correct. But hopefully, it's from like we said, it's from the writer of *Malignant*. It's from the director of apparently a good movie. Housebound is one of those that I've been meaning to watch forever. It's on my watch list. I just haven't gotten to it. So hopefully it does something cool.
Yeah. Like I'm that's the thing. Like the trailer, it doesn't impress me as much as the credits. The credits are what getting me to be like, oh, I'm kind of interested in this.
Yeah.
Because *Malignant*, again, I didn't care for *Malignant*, but if you recall, they didn't do that for the trailer. They took a risk. They said, we're going to present this.
They did not let on what the fuck was going on in that movie.
And I really like the fundamental idea. I'm a big fan of it, to the point that I've been trying to write something with it, of something that seems supernatural that ends up being technically not. Spoilers for *Malignant*. Like the idea that the first half of *Malignant* is trying to make it look like a James Wan horror movie. Yeah. Where it's like, ooh, spooky ghosts. And then you learn like, oh, it doesn't have ghosts at all. Like, I really respect that idea.
It's like Humbug, the episode of The X-Files.
What if the twist is that the little girl who's sad and lonely is the newest version of the robot?
See, that would be interesting.
And
or it could go the route of...
is actually like the previous like misfit toy or something. I don't know.
Right.
Oh, that would be interesting. So they're
that
like,
would be interesting because her parents are
dead.
Oh,
fuck, Abe, I bet you're fucking right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I bet you're right.
Yeah.
That would be a twist.
That might be the twist.
It reminds me of this direct-to-video 90s horror movie called Pinocchio's Revenge, where it was about this little boy who got a Pinocchio doll, and like Pinocchio kept coming to life and killing everybody. And the twist was that Pinocchio wasn't coming to life at all. It was the little kid that was killing everyone.
That's fun.
So I was wondering if maybe this movie is going to be some kind of version of that, but now I'm thinking it'll be more what Abe is saying, with maybe a little bit of the Pinocchio's Revenge angle, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
I think this is all cool ideas. I'm just wondering, like, this is the issue, is like, if it's just Chucky,
it could just be Chucky.
Then that's like kind of disappointing because it's not that interesting.
Right.
It's just a slasher where they redressed Chucky. Like,
well, and even if you remember, this was literally the plot of the reboot that they did in 2019.
Yeah, it was
that Chucky was an AI.
Yeah, and so, like, I don't know. I see why people were, like, I just think people are overreacting to this trailer because it's literally just the dance.
It really is. Just it's the dance and knowing that it's from the person who wrote Malignant.
Right, but if you saw this trailer on its own and it didn't include that one dance scene, I think this would pass people by pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Because it's not that interesting otherwise. And that's what I mean about like the orphan of it all and the Malignant, where it's like, again, Malignant, I shouldn't lump in, but like Orphan is pretty good, but also pretty boring at times, especially when you know the twist and you realize like, oh, that movie's like 80% its twist.
Yeah.
And so like this feels like it's 80%. She's dancing, TikTok dance, you know?
It could
because
be
the kills, the scenes it's showing aren't that interesting otherwise.
No, not at all.
All right.
Or maybe they are. You know, we don't know. But
we don't know. I still want to see it because I like horror movies. And you know,
hell yeah,
yeah. I'm gonna watch this goddamn thing.
I'm
that's
gonna
for
watch
sure.
it. Yeah. Just to see her get on all fours again and gallop through the forest like
gallop through the woods. Yeah,
right.
Like Horse Girl.
Oh my god! Sorry, you might have mentioned this. She plays the engineer at a toy company. It's a toy.
It's a toy. So
it's supposed to be a toy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It literally is child's play. I just didn't realize that they're making this as a quote unquote toy. I thought this was like, you know, like for like the movie AI or something.
Yeah, for like sad parents.
Or something. Yeah. But the fact that this is supposed to be a toy, it really is that Doc Ock situation, isn't it? That's hilarious.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah. That's it for trailers.
Yeah, all right. Let's do it. Let's move on.
Knocking them down, dude. Knocking them
down. Let's name some more producers, shall we?
Yeah, let's
big
do it.
Thank you to Glitterous, CFO of Michael Shannon's Chocolate Factory.
Thank you.
Big thank you to Davey, the ghost of East Las Vegas, Francis. Huh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Oh Great, It's That Guy.
Thank you.
Thank you to Chester's Prophet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Definitely Not Guillermo del Toro.
Thank you.
Thank you to Brian, who Tom knows.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you to Bob Grenville. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to Steven.
Thank you.
Thank you to Han Toomey, the confused cyborg.
All right, let me leap in here. Let me gallop in here on all fours.
Yeah.
Thank you to Asking 7.
Thank you.
Thank you to Evil Ed 209.
Oh, yeah.
You're so cool, Brewster. Thank you to Manischewitz Maltov says economic solidarity is the path to paradise, comrades.
Spooky.
Thank you to Tiger Drawers Pratt Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dan Hackroyd.
Thank you.
Thank you to Cody Johnson's Time Machine Noise.
Thank you.
Thank you to Pete Forpagel.
Thank you.
Thank you to follow viral TikTok superstar Jason Parchin on TikTok and buy his new book, If This Book Exists, You're in the Wrong Universe.
Thank you.
Are we sure that's not Jason?
That's Jason. That's Jason.
Oh, that would be so funny if it was. That would be so good if it was. I actually know it is not. It is not Jason. It's not. But it would be so funny if it was.
It would be really funny.
That's kind of, that would be really good. He's just buying ad space at all of his friends.
Why not?
Let's talk about this Blade
our ad
movie.
space is cheap.
It is.
Yeah. Let's talk about this Blade movie that they, for some reason, can't fucking figure out.
Yeah, it's officially on hold because not only are they searching for a new director, but also a new script. So I really want to know, like, what, like it was like I'm part of me is imagining that Marvel like emailed the director of the old director and was like, okay, so how are we doing on that? And the director being like, oh shit, I didn't realize I didn't know it was a thing. Yeah, like I thought when you said like do Blade, I thought it was like conversational, and I didn't realize like it was like an official thing. I haven't been doing anything. Like that's what it feels like. It feels like they didn't do their homework, and they're like, shit.
Do you know? Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
There's stories from Marvel about their relationships with directors.
Yeah, they're not good stories.
Studio that controls almost every element of films. The director is more like a TV director, you know? Mm-hmm. And they're usually there for their name. And sometimes I think there's a few of them that are exceptions because they're almost bigger than Marvel in a surprisingly weird way, and it's usually because their voices, they're like voice centered. I'm thinking of like Waititi and stuff, Gunn, for example, Coogler, but for the most part, they usually want, and it's where like the Russo brothers started too. They wanted TV directors. They wanted young directors who didn't really have much of a quote unquote voice as their, as their iconography, as their branding, in order to push them around, to be like, you're not that big of a deal. You're going to do what we say, because the brain trust at Marvel has to win, right? That's how the movies work, because it's a cinematic universe. It's different from just a movie. Mm-hmm. So because of that, I think that's usually where it's, if you look back and read the stories about how Edgar Wright was going to direct Ant-Man, you basically know everything you need to know about kind of how they deal with it. And I'm pretty sure this is the same situation right now, is that it's like, yes, I would love to do a Marvel movie, because think about how awesome that would be. I would be immediately, I could become famous, but also I do believe of myself as an artist, and like I have a trajectory in my mind of how I want to do this, and that would completely curtail all that.
Right,
and
because
so
it's it's like getting a bunch of money dumped on your lap. It's like, oh, in my next film I can do whatever I want, but it doesn't matter if you make a movie you don't like, right?
Right.
And then you're like, well, no one's I'm a laughingstock. Yeah,
and also I don't want to ever make a movie that I am like literally saying shit that I don't want to say. Like I don't, because that could be a problem.
It's also, this has been a problem within Disney with both of their huge, like Marvel and Star Wars, for the, since they bought both of those things pretty much, is that they keep trying to reverse engineer these movies. They keep trying to like build them wrong, or like backwards. Yeah. Like they start with like this one I kind of get, because the story it's the story that went around very famously, where basically Mahershala Ali just called Kevin Feige and was like, I'm Blade. And he's like, yes, you are. So like I get that. But like they do this with, the like announcing we're going to do a new Star Wars trilogy, and then they sent 3 different teams off to go write their own movies without a thought of how they would connect. And it's like, this is a symptom of the same kind of thinking, where it's like you're trying to you're making this backwards. Like, you should start by writing the movie or knowing what the movie is.
Right.
Yeah. What it reminds me of, without getting too big of a rant, it reminds me of Elon Musk, who's like, oh yeah, the Tesla truck, yeah, that's going to be a boat too. And there's some engineer somewhere doing a spit take, hearing that. Like, I'm sorry, what? Like, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of, I want this to look like the future, and then I'll figure out the rest. And Marvel is very much of like, we know what we want this to look like. And yeah, it's not just Marvel, but it's that's why it worked for a while, and now feels like it's falling apart.
They pivoted to TV, right? TV shows are something you can do. Well, let's just do 6 episodes, 8 episodes to do the stuff that we want to pivot things in our direction, and then we can leave the movies to just be the same thing over and over and over, because that's the juice, that's the sweet juice that we get. So it's like all the interesting meta conversations. She-Hulk just had an episode that like just kind of did this, and it's very much so a like bait and switch that they're doing with TV. But I think with the Blade movie, I think the strife is probably coming from that. No one is verifying it yet, but I think that hindsight will inform us that we're right.
The rumors that I heard, there was that idea that I heard the thing that was like, the script is 90 pages and has 2 lackluster action scenes, and Mahershala Ali wasn't happy with it. I'm guessing Mahershala Ali, considering that starting the story, is just like, I'm running this show, which is fine. But I'm guessing what actually happened is probably not as common with Marvel, or it is probably a little, is that this director had a script that he made that he liked, that didn't do that. He was like, I want to avoid this trope and this trope and this trope.
Right.
And it really feels like they looked at it and they're like, yeah, but can we make it 2.5 hours long and have this trope and this trope and this trope? And being like, I don't want to do this anymore.
And here's a laundry list of scenes that have to happen. And so
right.
Yeah.
You got to introduce XYZ characters and
And it's so detailed that here's the script. It's like, that's kind of how it works there.
It doesn't feel like you direct a Marvel movie. And like it feels like directors can like sneak in little things, like little treats for themselves. But for the most part, it is. And again, we've talked about this a million times. It's just what makes the Marvel movies always rub me the wrong ways, because they feel like a corporate made thing, albeit one that has a lot of talent behind it.
It's always the talent pyramid, right? Because like if the writer is enough, like if you're, we'll just say if you're Miller and Lord, you can do whatever the fuck you want. So that's why we get, into the Spider-Verse or whatever. Like we can, it depends on
unless they're trying to make a Han Solo movie.
Yeah. Right. They can't get them all right?
Yeah.
But like they could do weird stuff because they're known for doing weird stuff, like Lego Movie and stuff like that. And people were like, oh, we're really into just the very concept of what they write. That is still, it may not be necessarily as like the celebrity like notion of like, well, will fans really react to it? But I think inside the industry, it definitely does work like that. There are rock stars that walk among us, and those people are the ones who all the power gravitates toward.
Right, and sometimes they do have good ideas.
Yeah, that's why they're there.
But sometimes they are people who had good ideas, perhaps.
Yeah.
And then are like, I don't know, a J.J. Abrams type, where it's like, maybe you shouldn't be in charge of everything.
Right.
Maybe you shouldn't have a Star War and be in charge of Star Trek. And like, maybe we should have people who are passionate about these projects, making them instead of just someone who delivered a lot for you.
Yeah.
And
one last thing on just the approaches, because it's kind of coming right off there's two major stories that have happened fairly recently with the two biggest corporations running stories right now, which is the approaches to not being happy with the product. And the other one would be Warner Brothers and Batgirl. And they're not the same situation at all. I just wanted to point out that there'll be a lot of comparison to that. But Marvel had a much better situation in this case of not having already spent a ton of money yet. So it's kind of the only reasonable choice at this point is just like, hurry up and wait, Oh, yeah, no. Here's the thing. We are seeing the system working better than it's worked in the past, right? Like, we've talked about this where it's like, I'm glad that they didn't make, say 2 Star Wars and then be like, oh, how do we end this? Like, it's good that they're saying, okay, we need a new script for Blade. Like, Let's make it better.
That's the system working, right?
Yeah.
So you turn in their
minds.
Yeah, what it is about Marvel, and like that's what's okay. That is an interesting thing about this, is we could argue this is Marvel actually doing the right thing for once, because normally Marvel did that thing where they'd say, okay, on exactly this date, this movie, this date, this movie, this date, this movie, and they'd like plan 5 years in advance, and then it's like, oh, we don't have the script ready, and they're like, too bad, we're doing it, that there was that feeling.
It's a good reaction.
Like, it's good that a studio goes, okay, we're going to hit pause, we're going to dump the script, and we're going to start again before we do anything else. Right.
Yeah.
That is good.
That is good. Yeah, very
That
true.
is how movies should be made. Yeah. It's more of just like, at this point, we're all kind of rolling our eyes at Marvel. Personally, my frustration is that Blade is the single thing I'm the most excited for. And I'm like, come on, guys. Well, just get Blade. Like, they already did give him a cameo in Eternals, a movie that I'm sure they'd be happy for everybody to forget, because that's what it is. It's more like movies like Eternals, where it's like a giant man bursts out of the earth. And then all the other movies are like, let's pretend that didn't happen. Like, there's this feeling of discontinuity with their current plan, and this feels like another example of that. Like, it's just like, really, you introduced Blade in Eternals and you don't have any idea what you were going to do with him? but this is them doing the right thing.
that would be so amazing.
What?
Blade in Eternals.
He's
Wait,
at the end of
he is?
Eternals.
He is?
Yeah, the post credits has Blade in it. Not you don't see him, you hear him.
Yeah.
Fucking what's his name? Jon Snow picks up a sword, who I guess means he's going to be someone.
Yeah,
God, that
he's
movie's a mess.
Black Knight. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
and
really-
then someone
it's really
what?
bad.
Yeah,
All right, I'm out
and
of
then
this.
you hear a voice that says something like "nice sword" or whatever, and it's fucking Mahershala
That's
Ali's voice.
Blade?
Yeah,
All right.
and so him and Jon Snow are going to do.
Fucking
This is what I
weird.
mean is the problem that Marvel has created for themselves. It is still the Tesla problem, where like you watch that and you're like, okay, I guess those two are going to hang out. And so now I'm sure they're going into the Blade movie and they're like, okay, you got to include this and this and this because we already set it up. Someone has to talk about this giant man that came out of the earth, and probably this director is like, I just want to write a Blade movie. Can we
Yeah,
just
I
not
thought it was
make
just
it?
vampires.
Yeah, can we not set it in the same universe? Is that possible? And like it's like no, they've every movie has to build
All
upon the last, that
connected,
it's
baby.
becoming this elaborate house of cards.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know, man, maybe you should just make independent movies. Like or rather movies are independent of the MCU. I don't know.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe is expanding quicker than the real universe.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
an onion joke about porn, actually.
Nice.
They're like the porn universe is expanding larger. It's great.
The porn. Is there porn cinematic universe?
Yeah, it's all porn.
No, okay. That
Yeah.
actually makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to drop this story in real quick. They gave the go-ahead for the Seth MacFarlane produced Naked Gun remake.
Mhm.
And I know that bums out some people, but it also is, they're saying the writer or director might be, what's his name? Akiva Schaffer.
It's Akiva Schaffer, yeah, from Lonely Island.
Yeah. And so it's like, okay. And then it's going to be Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what?
Yep.
Huh.
That sounds good.
That's pretty
Why
perfect if you're gonna do a Naked Gun reboot. I mean, he's not exactly the same, obviously, but like you can immediately picture what that's gonna be.
Well,
Yeah.
everyone who's seen the improv scene with Ricky Gervais that he did, basically, that he can do.
Yeah.
He can do that stuff.
And
he
he's
can do comedy where he is just deadpan.
Yeah.
Right. And like, it's obviously like, okay, the best way to do Naked Gun remake is to not do it. But also, who cares?
Yeah,
It's
who
the
cares?
Naked
It's
Gun.
Naked Gun. It's not like
Yeah.
super precious. It's just
Yeah,
it's
well-
just a movie about jokes. That's all
Yeah.
it's about.
But what's
Yeah.
interesting about this news is it did remind me, no, it is precious in a couple ways. One of those ways is having a serious actor like
Yes.
Leslie Nielsen was do the role and
Do
play
the
it as
role.
a straight man.
That's how
and it's like,
worked. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like, oh shit, they're gonna do that. So you got the one thing right. So fuck it.
If he's funny, though.
Yeah, he won't be.
Leslie Nielsen was extremely funny.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And they just didn't use that part of his talent at the beginning of his career. I don't know if we're in the same situation, but I hope he thinks he does because I'm here to watch it.
Oh, I'm sure he thinks he does.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch
He
it.
gives me Russell Crowe vibes, which is guy who isn't that funny, who thinks he's very funny.
He's very cool.
Yeah, Russell
he's
Crowe
so
thinks he's
tall.
very funny.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would love to see a Naked Gun with Russell Crowe.
Russell
Oh,
Crowe.
It's
shit.
just fucking bone chilling. none of the jokes land. It's just too scary.
It just feels like he's driving around taking people to the back room and beating the hell out of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Final news. This is for Abe. Brendan Fraser says he's open to another Mummy movie. So Abe, email him something.
Yep.
Dave, I read this and the article. I know this is nonsense because I read the article
Yeah.
because you put it in here, and this is how I learned this information. And it's just something he said in the interview.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
if
it's
someone
literally
can
something
figure
saying,
it out.
Would you do another Mummy
Of
movie? And him
course.
kind of saying,
I
like,
love the Mummy.
I don't know, but sure.
But
And I
Here's-
just wanted
here's-
you to know that based off the title of the article, for a brief second, it was very real to me.
Aw.
And I'm using the rest of my life to take down clickbait and you, Dave, as
So
a concept.
purposely phrased this as he says he's open to another Mummy movie. That's
Uh-huh.
it. That's the truth. Brendan Fraser, when asked, said, I'd be open to it if someone came up with the right concept.
I can't believe you've done
Here's
this.
the actual quote, which is very funny. He says, he starts it off with, I don't know how it would work, but I'd be open to it if someone came up with the right conceit.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, I mean, that's what it always is. Every time you see this headline.
Who doesn't say that?
Like
Who
for
doesn't
years,
say that?
yeah. Like for years, they were
He
like,
also-
Keanu Reeves said he'd be open to a new Matrix or another Bill and Ted. And it's because of this. It's like the interviewers ask him, hey, would you ever do another Bill and Ted? Yeah, sure.
Did he not do
He
another
did
Matrix
both
and another
of those
Bill and
things.
Ted?
Yes, that's true.
That's
It took,
what I'm saying.
I mean,
But that's-
after 10 years
my
of seeing
God.
that same headline, but yeah.
God.
So we could
30
see a
years.
Mummy 4 with Brendan Fraser.
This is the thing about these clickbait headlines. I get that they're frustrating, but when you think about it, this is the most power like entertainment journalists have. They incept
Hope.
They put the little bug in some producer's brain that goes,
yeah.
we could do another Mummy, couldn't we?
Couldn't
People
we?
would watch that.
And then someone's like, and we'll do it in 40 years when Brendan Fraser is actually a mummy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the twist. He's going to be the mummy.
He's going to be old, raggedy-ass mummy.
yeah.
He's going to be a busted-ass mummy.
Busted-ass mummy.
Just
God,
dusty
He
what a
as
also
shit.
said- He also said the Tom Cruise one didn't work because it wasn't fun, which is the least controversial statement you could say about that movie.
Yeah, thanks, Brendan.
Yeah. It's
He
like,
was, he was being
he's right.
extremely diplomatic.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah,
it just
'cause he's
wasn't
an
fun.
actor.
He said it took itself too seriously. Or rather, he didn't
Yeah.
say too seriously. He just said it took itself very
What is
seriously.
he? Brian Cox, like at the end of his rope.
Oh, man. Brian
Dogging on
Cox
people
just
for no reason.
putting out his book like, I'm going to fucking
like-
massacre people in my book.
Honestly, I
Alan
would,
Rickman just like, fuck everybody.
yeah, I would argue that if anybody deserves to do that, it's Brendan Fraser.
That's
And, like, he's being extremely diplomatic considering
course
what
he is.
Hollywood did to him.
He's
So it's like, yeah.
that's his brand. He's like the nicest guy, right?
Right. He's continues to be the nicest guy.
Yeah. I bet
He was
he's a
not
monster.
broken.
I bet we're gonna find out he's a monster. I don't
Well,
know.
he's
There's
taking
something broken
he's
in
doing
there.
that petty high road. I love the petty high road.
Petty high
which
road
is
nice.
like you take the high road because it's actually pettier to do it that way.
Yeah, it's passive aggressive in a way.
Petty
Yeah.
high road.
Petty high road.
Sure.
All right, Mummy 4 confirmed.
Mummy 4.
Confirmed.
Abe finally can die. after
David S.
Mummy
Goyer
4.
will write it,
Hell yeah,
and
he
it'll
will.
be terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Get back,
How can
Steven
I-
Summers.
Oh, you want to thank some more producers?
Yeah,
Should we
man,
do
I
that?
can't wait.
Okay. Thank you to Del Griffith, the shower curtain fella.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Midnight Patron with patrons at midnight. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you to Exploding Runes.
Thank you.
Thank you to Andrew, the Proud Satanist House.
Hail Satan.
Thank you to Vincent.
Thank you.
Thank you to Rev MD.
Thank you.
Thank you to Bootler Boodleson.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Tux.
Tux.
Thank you to Ricky Cilantro.
Thank you.
Thank you to Norm from Cheers.
Norm.
Thank you to Space McNulty.
Thank you. All right, let me.
Tom,
what?
there's a name change that takes 2 lines. I'm just warning you now. Okay.
Okay. Let me take over here. Thank you to your mom.
Thank you.
Thank you to Nolan. 2B-star Harold Mayton recommends 1989's Haunted Lawnmower Jaws ripoff Blades.
Thank you.
That's, yeah, sure, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
Thank you to Andrew. Abe Epperson deserves more hype McGuire.
Hey, thanks, Andrew.
Thank you to AJ.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tip Drizzle.
Thank you.
Thank you to Burrito Mouth.
Thank you.
Thank you to the ghost of Dave Thomas.
Thank you.
Thank you to Aaron Burser.
Thank you.
Thank you to Christopher Robert Sparts, Esquire.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mackenzie Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick chill.
Thank you.
Thank you to Funky J.
Thank you.
Thank you to Pie Guy.
Thank you. And listen, if any other you other freaks want to do a fucking Halloween name, yeah, you message us. I'll get to it as soon as I can.
Dave fucking loves it when you do that.
Yeah,
shit.
he's so
I'm
excited.
kind
He's
of a
so
fan.
excited.
Twice now.
I'm kind of a fan, but I will say
He's hot
I might
for your
after Halloween.
names.
I might not change it back unless you specifically tell me to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Tis the season that we always think.
Mhm.
Forever
He's the,
season.
This
he's
should
the reason
be
for the
always.
season is spookiness. Always.
Yeah.
Dave. Dave.
No.
Yeah. No, it's
I don't want
time.
it.
It's time. It's time for you to.
doesn't wanna
It's
go.
time for you to show the class what you brought.
No.
Do you have? Listen. Do you have a movie that deserves more hype?
Yes.
Oh, what luck!
Yeah, I super do. This
hit
movie
us.
is called The Outwaters. The trailer is not specific. It is.
This very mysterious trailer.
It's
Yeah,
mostly quotes.
it's mostly quotes about
Yeah.
how good it is. I believe this is produced by Bloody Disgusting, which is adorable. But apparently, there's so many good reviews for this, and they're all from like the one I use is from Dread Central. They're all from like horror nerd sites, which I trust in terms of horror, where it's like, oh yeah, if all the horror freaks, all those little nerds like it,
Yeah.
it's probably quite good as a horror. It's a found footage movie, which really feels like we're hitting a good stride with found footage. It's apparently a cosmic horror that takes place with people filming a music video in the Mojave Desert, and then for like an indie folk band, and then apparently from what I can tell, the cameraman, the director, starts blasting through different versions of reality, and so it's a multiverse found footage movie, which kind of makes me roll my eyes, but then again, everybody's saying it's really good, that it's like he slowly like goes nuts, and I'm sure it's very like Lovecraftian and junk.
Yeah,
the trailer
sounds like The Fall or something,
Yeah.
but a found footage movie, which kind of sounds like it rules if the imagery is like really awesome.
I'm guessing the imagery will be good and actually like more like it. Found footage fundamentally is usually done because it's cheap, so I'm guessing it'll actually not show as much, and that
Right.
might be a good thing,
Like, yeah, intricately staged stuff as opposed to like
Yeah.
huge set pieces. Yeah, that could work. The one of the pull quotes that I laughed at is that this was from Killer Horror Critic. It flashes up screen halfway through the trailer. It says, maybe the closest you can come to feeling the sensation of death through a movie.
I didn't know
Which
how
I
to
love.
react to that.
Right, because I'm very concerned about that critic.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, listen, I know death.
Yes. That's
This
other
is
thing.
the closest to
This is the
experiencing
closest.
death a movie
He's
can
just
get.
like, and trust him, he's a flatliner. It also implies that some of us might actually die in this movie.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, that's
one out of
okay.
3
I'm,
people.
I'm almost more interested in whoever wrote that quote.
Killer
Right.
horror critic.
Here's what I
apparently.
think.
Flatliner.
Yeah.
He just, I fucking love it when a movie makes me die.
Right.
It's great.
Here's
great.
my guess. My guess is what they actually mean is the idea of being thrust through like a darkness, an unknown.
Tumultuous, yeah.
Yeah, that's my guess. But yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Also could be a
tone-
misinterpreted like dunk on the movie. Like, I felt like death.
Yeah.
This movie sucks so
The
hard.
critic is looking at that and they're like, hey, I meant that as a fucking insult.
Yeah, that wasn't a
that'd be
positive thing to say.
Hell
Yeah.
No, I'm super intrigued by this. Like, I like cosmic horror. I haven't seen too many movies that do it well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I'm into this, and I just like the little write up that you put in mentions tentacles. I'm like, yes, get tentacles
we love
in there.
tentacles.
Just do it. No, I'm super excited for this movie. I'm bummed it's not coming out till next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely check it out. Found footage, actually good found footage. Really interesting.
It's yeah. So like, I remember being there was that era of found footage horror that just I hated, and it's weird that now I've like really come around on it, where it's like, there's some really quality found footage out there.
Yeah, people are doing some really interesting things with it for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And we get very little audio from this trailer, but the audio we do get, I actually was a big fan of, because it's a woman who says, I had a dream about my mom last night. And then a dude responds, And he's like, I have weird dreams too. And that's fucking hilarious. That is way to go. Like,
That's
you
so
just
weird.
encapsulated that moment that we've all had with people.
Yeah.
And you just put it at the beginning of your trailer. And I'm sure
great.
it's going to be significant somehow. But it's just a funny way to start your trailer where you clearly don't want to show everything. You know?
Yeah, they don't want to show anything.
They barely show you anything. They show you one image that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wish there was a little bit more. And like the thing I said earlier about there's going to be 2 more trailers and there's going to be plenty of footage we see. But teasers like this always seem useless to me. I don't know. They can promise anything. They can imagine the best movie ever. This movie will kill you. You know, like they can say
This movie
this shit.
will literally murder
And it goes
you.
like, oh no. You know, this is going to be good, I guess. But, you know, there'll be more and it'll be fine. This problem
There'll
will
be
solved.
more, and it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
There might be
And
more.
you're
This
right.
is a pretty small movie, so we might not see anything else
We might
about
not
it
see
until it comes
Yeah.
out.
Maybe.
That's true.
The one of the pull quotes actually is the most offensive movie that's ever been seen.
It'll offend you or your money
For
back.
your money back.
The underground found footage movie.
Oh
That's a
no!
full circle, That's a full circle. I nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we brought it
Yeah.
back around.
I just want to. One last thing about found footage.
Mm.
Who knew that found footage was going to be good and that one of the best was made by Bobcat Goldthwait? That also is weird.
Yeah.
Willow Creek.
Willow
Yeah.
Creek. That's it. Not Wolf Creek.
Yeah,
that's
Wolf Creek's
all.
a different movie, right? That's the Australian one.
That's
Yeah.
Speaking of full circle, that's a sode. We've done it.
We did it.
We
Regular
did it.
time.
We
Stop the
hyped.
clock.
We cast.
An
Hey.
hour and 45 minutes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
what's up?
You plugged stuff at the beginning. Do you want to plug stuff at the end here? Full
Would you
circle?
care to do it again?
Yeah, I'll just say, to answer your question, I respond with
It's for the-
patreon.com/smallbeans.
Yep. It's for the people who start the episodes halfway through.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
yeah, absolutely. Those maniacs. Yeah, and also I just want to throw in there, if you haven't already or you don't know, you'll get more Tom, you'll get more Dave if you do contribute to Small Beans, because we have
That's true.
2 shows that you're familiar with, Spiel Boys and your whatever you do, Dave, the Star
Yep.
Trek one, and those 2. Half of those episodes are over at my channel, so
Yeah.
That's
Someone buy.
true.
Do it.
Mhm.
Do it. And the other half is on patreon.com/gamefully unemployed. You go on there, you give $5 a month, you get access to the ones that Abe just mentioned, plus 2 others. Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, for an extra $5 on top of that $5, which equals the number 10. You can watch movies with us every Friday night. That'll be
Hell
the
yeah.
night this comes out. So check that out.
Yeah.
Hell
We're
yeah.
probably going to be watching Spook 'em Ups.
Ooh, spooky.
We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store where we have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all kinds of things. So
Check it out.
slap your cosmic peepers onto that.
Yeah.
Yep, your writhing tenticular peepers.
Yep. Gross.
Like
Yeah, I know,
or
man.
erotic.
Listen, I don't. Yeah,
Hey,
Listen.
that's true.
thanks
that's
for having
true.
me on again, you guys.
Of
I love
course.
being
Hey, man.
business friends with you.
Yeah,
Anytime.
we're the best business friends.
We're business friends. Good meeting.
All right, say goodbye, business pals.
Goodbye.
Farewell.
Bye. Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, Corlew, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.